Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ainur Rabiyatul binti RAHIM. My matrix number is D2021-10988854. And in today's video, I will be going through and explaining on my e-portfolio for the subject English language teaching methodology. So first, we're going to go through the topic of the standard-based English language curriculum, which is known as SBELC, along with explaining about higher order thinking skills, which is HOTS, and then moving on to the second topic, which is motivation, and then the third one, which is the language learning strategies, and the fourth is the 21st century teaching and learning strategies, and lastly I will elaborate on what type of teacher that I aspire to be. So to start off, the standard-based English language curriculum, which is known as the SBELC, is a document that incorporates the English language content and also the learning standards as well as the pedagogical approaches. So having fixed standards will ensure equal opportunities for the pupils to learn and be assessed against concrete standards, whereby the SBELC act as a benchmark as to the expectations put on students, because they express clear expectations of what the students should learn and be able to do with the language to meet the standards. The standard also enables teachers to allow the students to know what is expected from them, and also allowing for the parents to know their children's learning progression and how their children are doing in their learning. And the SBELC aims to incorporate the high order thinking skills, which is HOT, and it is derived from the revised Bloom's taxonomy. So based on the hierarchy of the revised Bloom's taxonomy, it builds up respectively from the level of remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and also creating. However, the high levels doesn't mean that it's better than the lower ones, but rather the lower levels act as a foundation that climbs to the higher level, in which makes the learning process more sophisticated and challenging. Okay, so briefly, the first level is the level of remembering that highlights more on the retrieval and the recalling of knowledge. And then the second level is understanding that underlines more on the comprehension instead of the recalling of information. The third level is the level of applying, where students utilize their prior knowledge in a new scenario. And then moving on to the fourth level, which is analyzing, where students examine and sort out information. And then on to the fifth level, which is the level of evaluating, where students defend opinions, make judgments, and also assess information. And then on to the last level, which is the highest level, is the level of creating, where students produce something new based on their previous knowledge. So the usage of the revised Bloom's taxonomy is vital in the learning process, as it helps in producing well-equipped students for real life. As the taxonomies challenge students through the learning through each level, students will be able to attain and adapt to a higher order thinking skills, cognitive skills, and wider capabilities. So the objectives are able to be aligned with the instruction and assessment with the application of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. So take today's digital era as an instance where learning happens majorly through the usage of advanced technology, where teachers are given the mission to design a learning lesson based on the modernized learning process. So with futuristic technology, teachers are able to use a wide variety of media, platforms, teaching and learning equipment to further test students' ability and challenge their higher order thinking skills. So not only will the learning objectives be achieved, but students will also enjoy the learning process as the teacher implement the revised Bloom's taxonomy into the classroom in a more up-to-date way. So students will be prepared with a more complex thinking process and skills, which is relevant to their new generation which enables them to compete with their colleague to a higher degree. So with SBELC and HOTS in hand, the objectives of the curriculum are able to be attained more efficiently. Motivation is the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. It's what causes you to act, whether it's getting a glass of water to reduce thirst or reading a book to gain knowledge. Motivation involves the biological, emotional, social, and cognitive forces that activate these behaviors. And in everyday usage, the term motivation is used and frequently used to describe as to why a person does something. So it is the driving force behind every human actions. Furthermore, motivation also reflects something unique about a person and allows an individual to gain valued outcomes, whether it be improve performance, enhance well-being, giving a sense of purpose, or even personal growth. So the motivation is a pathway to change one's way of thinking, behaving, and feeling. And in education, motivation helps students and young people in focusing their attention on a key goal or outcome. And in doing so, students are unfazed by any possible distraction and are therefore able to maintain their attention during a longer periods of time. And students who are motivated usually display goal-oriented behaviors by taking initiative, showing resilience, harnessing their curiosity, care for and respect their work. And usually these type of pupils are able to manage their own learning journey. In order to motivate my students, I would encourage learning language outside of the classroom. So based on what Dewey 1897 said, learning process that takes place outside of the classroom is also a form of experiential learning, whereby most individuals learn best through things that they have experienced. So this strategy can be implemented into the classroom through giving tasks that are more flexible, which incorporates students' daily life outside of the classroom. So students can explore their creativity while also getting the job done in a way that they enjoy. Doing things in a way that we enjoy will result in a more quality product compared to being forced or having fixed rules. So for an instance, teachers can assign students to a weekly language-based challenge to be posted on their social media. And aside from that, encouraging students to also interact within the tasks given will also be a fuel for their motivation and encouragement to do better within the tasks given. There are many beneficial outcomes of this particular strategy, such as students are able to relate their daily lives outside of the classroom to their academic language study. And as an instance, students that engage with people all over the world are able to improve their communication skills and widen their linguistic knowledge. And nowadays, there are students who are content creators and take language education as their main content, where they are able to deliver the knowledge through an interesting methods rather than the classic way of delivering linguistic knowledge. And not only can they motivate others, but they are also able to motivate themselves. In addition, gamification also helps with learning outside of the classroom. For instance, the online game Wordle, which is a basic word game that gives each participant 6 chances each day to guess the 5-letter word. And this game is not only beneficial for ESL learners, but also a great way to engage with people all over the world, since it is a widely known game on social media. People are very competitive as they share their daily scores on social media, which has become one of the main motivation drive for these players. And indirectly, this platform enables students, learners, and also individuals to widen their vocabulary knowledge, and also improve their language skills in the English language. In order to widen my students' vocabulary knowledge, I would use the method of asking questions about a particular word, whereby initially I would ask the definition and the meaning of the word, and students could answer using their own words, and if there's a mistake, I would correct them with a more precise answer and definition. And I would also ask how to use the word in a sentence and its usage based on a certain situation, topics, or themes. And there will also be questions regarding the homonyms, synonyms, or antonyms of the word. And through this learning process and strategy, students are able to decipher and gain more knowledge as well as understanding regarding the words. Besides that, students also able to learn new words and new vocabularies, and this could be carried out through a relaxed and non-stressful manner, because when students learn through a stress-free learning environment, they are able to absorb knowledge more efficiently. So for instance, implementing these objectives into a game-like class activity, not only will the students be encouraged, but they will also willingly participate in the class, making it a more fruitful lesson. I would utilize the usage of technology through the blended learning teaching style, because I personally believe that implementing technology into the classroom will motivate and attract students as their generation revolves around technology. And the blended learning teaching style is an approach whereby the traditional teaching method is combined with e-learning technology in a classroom setting. So one of the ways that I would practice this approach is by having an online class via Webex. So during the lesson, I will divide the students into smaller groups using the breakout session or breakout rooms. And let's say they were given the task to elaborate on mispronunciation using videos available online, whether it be on YouTube or any other online platforms. So they will work in their divided groups and then present their findings. So let's say they were given an hour to complete their tasks and also prepare for their presentation. And they could prepare their presentation slides using the platform Canva or PowerPoint, and they can also add on some brief quizzes to evaluate their peers' understanding regarding their presentation, which can be carried out via Kahoot or quizzes. And also I will be there as a facilitator to guide them throughout the presentation. So this will help with their communication skill along with their soft skills, and it will also help in sharpening their high order thinking skills and also enhancing their creativity in their work production. I firmly believe that I would be a teacher that has flexibility in terms of the classroom setting, the assessment, and a teacher that keeps the classroom lively. And I would set the classroom to be student-centered and construct fun activities and lessons so that it will bring some engagement between me as a teacher and the students, so that the classroom would be attentive and interactive. And I will also put some pressure on the students due to the fact that I believe most students work best with some pressure being put on them, but not too much pressure, because too much pressure will lead to burnout, and putting students through academic stress and academic pressure is not something that I aspire to do, because it will lead to a lot of negative consequences, and that's not what I want for my students. And also I think that encouragement from me as a teacher is something that I really want to practice in my teaching. So providing encouragement, having faith, and putting trust on my students is vital for their learning process, because it'll indirectly put them in control to be in charge of their own learning process and learning journey, and it will simultaneously help with their thinking skills and problem solving skills, along with instilling confidence and leadership qualities. So these values, these skills and knowledge will be very helpful for them in the future.